Good afternoon and welcome back to MindSpanse. I'm Craig. Thank you for taking a little time with me today. We are going to continue our journey as it relates to letting go of attachments. I just did an introductory video to give you a sense of the fact that we are going to be looking at attachments as the constructs that we've developed over the course of our lives and how we react autonomously, just like our bodies do, but we do it emotionally, and how we react to situations, and we need to understand how those things got built up. And so what I want to do today is a very quick exercise, a visualization exercise that I think you'll find really helpful, and just so happens because we have this beautiful beach that will help us. And so before we start, let's do a big stretch. Hands all the way up. Take a deep breath in through your nose and release. Allow your shoulders to relax, and your face, and your jaw. And so, what I want you to think about is when you're at the beach and there are waves, what I want you to think about is standing right where the waves crash on you. So imagine the waves are sort of this high, not too dangerous, but they're strong, and they're crashing on you and crashing on you and crashing on you. You're like, that's where you're standing. And imagine that all those waves are feelings, they're emotions, they're triggers, they're anxiety and fear, and your boss asking you to do something that you don't agree with, or society, or whatever it is. These are these things, but you're stuck and you're afraid to move outside that spot because that's a spot where you're comfortable. That's where you are. And little by little, initially, you don't know where to go because you have this fear of moving outside of that area of the break. And so what you do is you start to dig in and you start to figure out how to duck a wave or how to turn your body, and little by little you get better and better. The waves are still crashing. It's not totally comfortable, but you get better at it. You get used to it. And at some point you even start to be proud of how you've been able to navigate these crashing waves. And you start to create this whole world in this spot. And the idea of attachments is that spot, what most people don't realize is that if you move a few feet into the ocean, you'll be on the break and you actually could just float. You're floating over those waves. But people are afraid. And in many cases, over time, you actually you're not just afraid of moving outside into that scary area, but you're actually afraid of losing your constructs, because the constructs define in some ways who you are. And so when you release that stuff, you're afraid that nothing will be left. And that's a bit crazy, but it's true. And what you find in the emptiness, like when people are afraid of quieting their mind, because if I quiet my mind, those noises are my friends, and what will be there? I'm going to find nothing there. But that's just not true. You'll find energy and peace and clarity, and it's going to be this incredible joy. And it's the same when you move beyond the break. But I could tell you 1,000 times that if you go 3-4 feet into the ocean, you're not going to get hit by this wave every time. And you're like, no way. It's not possible. Until someone actually grabs your hand and you agree and you walk through the break, which is scary because there's some big waves, and you're not sure what's on the other side. And all of a sudden you're on the other side and the waves are breaking on the beach and you're floating around over these bubbly waves, and it's awesome. And it's like a whole new world has opened up for you. It's totally different planet. And so that's sort of the concept of what I view as sort of neutral awareness, right? So you see the waves, you're participating in the waves, but you float over them and they move by, and maybe a big one comes by and you duck under it. But you're not attached to the wave. And if the waves are these emotions, happy, sad, joy, misery, whatever, those things roll by. Now, what I'm not saying is that we shouldn't participate as human beings in emotional activity, because it's a joy of our life. It's a joy of our existence, is to be human. And so you can surf the wave. You can go. My son loves to stand and get crashed by the wave. The key is not to get stuck, not to create a whole construct around that moment, not to become attached to that moment and to that construct, and not to make that your life. It's just a thing that floats by, and you can pull away from it. You can detach from it and go back and float over the waves. It's just a moment that you're engaging intentionally, as opposed to subconsciously or autonomously. And it's the same when we do these mind-body stuff. Like, you're trying to rebuild you're trying to cut through the autonomous behavior to reconnect with the movement of your body and reconnect the way your mind operates. And as you do that, so as you look at all these different things I'm talking about in the different episodes of quieting your mind or being present, it'll, over time, it's like you'll start to maybe understand or put the pieces together that you're already everything perfect. You are everything perfect. But over the course of time in life, we've developed these constructs, both physically in terms of how we move and how we feel and move our body, and how we operate in our brain and how we react to emotions and to other people and interpersonally. And all that stuff, a lot of it is just illusory constructs that were created over a long period of time that have nothing to do with who we are as a self. And so all these things are about getting rid of all that stuff, peeling the onion back to get to the self. The self which is the creator, the self which has clarity, the self which has wisdom, and then to manifest joy and wisdom and beauty from that true self. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be doing a lot more exercises as it relates to letting go of attachments. There's some really interesting and fun ones. And so thank you for sharing some time with me today. I wish you incredible peace and joy and a beautiful evening. And if you like this, like it, please subscribe so you'll get notified of my next episode. And if you know someone who you think would find value in this, please share it with them. And have a great day. Thank you.